For 7 days, silence reigned on the ash heap, a heavy, suffocating blanket of grief and unspoken questions. Job, ravaged by suffering, remained silent. But sometimes pain screams louder than any word. What happens when that silence finally shatters? Not with comfort, but with a cry of despair that challenges the very order of the universe? The oppressive silence, which had been a temporary balm, began to fester, mirroring the sores on Job's body. After 7 days and 7 nights, Job could hold it no longer. The pain, the loss, the incomprehensible injustice, it all boiled over, erupting into a raw, guttural lament, a curse not against God but against the very day he was born. May the day of my birth perish, and the night that said, "A boy is conceived." Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? Why were there knees to receive me and breasts that I might be nursed? For now I would be lying in peace, I would be asleep and at rest. Why is light given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of soul, to those who long for death that does not come, who search for it more than for hidden treasure? His words were not an accusation against God's character, but a desperate plea from the depths of a soul crushed by suffering. He questioned the very purpose of his existence, longing for the oblivion of death, for an end to the ceaseless, agonizing torment. He could find no meaning, no relief, only a relentless darkness that consumed him. Why persist in a life that offered nothing but pain? Job's friends had come to comfort him, but his lament, so utterly devoid of hope, shook their theological foundations. Eliphaz, the oldest and seemingly wisest of the three, was the first to break his silence in response. His tone was measured, seemingly gentle, yet within his words lay a veiled accusation, a subtle but firm assertion of traditional wisdom, that suffering is always a consequence of sin. If someone ventures a word to you, will you be impatient? But who can keep from speaking? Think how you have instructed many, how you have strengthened feeble hands. Your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees. But now trouble comes to you, and you are dismayed. It strikes you, and you are terrified. Should not your piety be your confidence and your blameless ways your hope? Then the implied accusation, sharp as a hidden dagger. Consider well, who that was innocent ever perished? Where were the upright ever destroyed? As I have observed, those who plow evil and those who sow trouble reap it. At the breath of God they are destroyed. At the blast of his anger perish? Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a human being be more pure than his maker? Eliphaz's theology was clear. God is just. The innocent do not suffer like this. Therefore, Job's unimaginable pain must be a result of some hidden transgression, some unconfessed sin. He offered no comfort, only a cold, logical conclusion that left no room for inexplicable suffering. Eliphaz's words, intended perhaps as guidance, struck Job not as comfort, but as a cruel and unjust condemnation. How could they speak of innocence and justice when his entire world had been unjustly shattered? Job, regaining a painful strength, passionately defended his righteousness and poured out his profound despair once more, challenging his friend's capacity for true empathy. Oh, that my anguish could be weighed and all my misery be placed on the scales. It would surely outweigh the sand of the seas. No wonder my words have been impetuous. For the arrows of the Almighty are in me. My spirit drinks in their poison. God's terrors are marshaled against me. He looked to his friends expecting compassion, but found only judgment. Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as torrents that overflow with ice and melting snow. But now you have become nothing to me. You see my affliction and are afraid. Have I ever said, "Give me something," or "Bribe me from your wealth," or "Rescue me from the hand of the foe," or "Deliver me from the grasp of the ruthless"? Teach me, and I will be silent. Make me understand what I have done wrong. How painful are honest words. But what does your argument prove? Job asserted his innocence not out of pride, but out of a desperate need for his suffering to be understood. He yearned for compassion, for a friend to simply acknowledge his pain rather than dissect it with theological pronouncements. He was trapped in a relentless nightmare, and his friends, instead of offering solace, were adding to his torment with their accusations. Here lies the fundamental clash, the very heart of Job's struggle and the central conflict of this series. On one side, Job's visceral lived experience of inexplicable suffering, a man who knows he is blameless yet endures unimaginable pain. On the other, Eliphaz's traditional theology, a neat, logical system where cause and effect dictate divine justice. To him, suffering must equal sin. There is no room in Eliphaz's worldview for an innocent man to suffer so grievously. And in Job's overwhelming pain, there is no room for the easy answers his friends offer. This isn't just a debate. It's a collision of deeply held beliefs against brutal, inescapable reality. The powerful contrast between Job's raw, undeniable pain and Eliphaz's detached, theological explanation ignites the true fire of this trial. The comforting silence has been shattered, replaced by words that wound more deeply than any boil. The stage is now set for a theological battle that will push the boundaries of faith, friendship, and understanding. What will Job's other friends, Bildad and Zophar, contribute to this escalating debate? Will their arguments offer any solace, or will they simply deepen Job's despair? Join us next time for The Friends' Unyielding Logic, A Righteous God, as the accusations intensify. If this episode sparked reflection on how we respond to suffering, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear Job's story, and subscribe to our channel for more profound spiritual insights. How do you reconcile inexplicable suffering with a just God? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below.